Hey there, Empowered Educators. Are you ready to take your leadership game to the next level? In today's episode, I'm breaking down the 5 key ways that you can show up as a building leader every single day. From being a visible presence to empowering your team, these strategies aren't just game changers. They're the foundation of great leadership. So whether you're navigating a new role or looking to refine your impact, this episode is packed with actionable tips to inspire and empower. Let's get started. Hi, friend. Are you ready to move into a leadership position? Do you have interests and ambitions that you want to pursue, but feel like you don't know how to take that next step? Maybe you want to start your own coaching or consulting agency. I'm Mel, and I help educators define their career path through correct mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for your career transition. I will show you how to level up your leadership skills, share your expertise in a new way, create impact on a larger scale, and put your leadership in motion. As an educator for over 20 years, I started to feel underused and like I had more to give. I knew when the time had come for me to leave the classroom and affect change on a larger level. Now, I'm ready to help you determine where your talents and skills mesh with your passions and interests, put your leadership in motion, and move into that next phase of your educational career journey. Let me help you define your career path by having the right mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for that next leadership position. So power up and put your leadership in motion. Welcome back, Empowered Educators. I'm your host, Dr. Mel. And today I'm going to be talking about the heart of leadership, the daily actions that define how you show up as a building leader. Whether you're a new principal, or maybe an experienced administrator, or someone aspiring to be in leadership, this episode is going to help you with the 5 essential ways that you can show up with purpose and make an impact every single day. Being a building leader is about so much more than managing the day-to-day. It's about showing up in a way that inspires confidence, that fosters growth, and creates a school culture where everyone, and I mean everyone, students, staff, parents, even you, can thrive. But let's be real. Guys, leadership can feel overwhelming. There's always a new challenge, a new fire to put out, or a decision that needs your attention. So how do you make sure that you're showing up as your best self, even when the days are long and the work feels never ending? It comes down to intentionality. How you choose to show up matters. It's not just about what you do, but how you do it. And I want to give you these 5 key ways that you can show up every single day as the kind of leader that your school needs, that your building needs. These aren't just leadership buzzwords or abstract ideas. These are actionable strategies that will help you build the trust you need with your team, to empower your team, and to lead with purpose. So I want you to grab a notebook and write these down because I'm about to share some game-changing tips that you can start applying today. These are easy things. And you know, as a teacher, you always wanted to take back actionable steps to your classroom. Well, I'm going to give you some actionable steps that you can implement tomorrow. So number 1, be visible and accessible. I think I've told you before that there have been principals in my past that I saw just very rarely. They were in their office and they never hardly ever came to my classroom. I would see them out and about in the building occasionally, but not very often. So you want to be visible. You never want the kids to say, "Hey, who's our principal?" Because that's not a good thing. That's not a good look for you. Be visible by greeting your teachers and your students as they come through the doors of a morning. Make sure that you're joining those morning meetings. If you have been at a station of a morning, you have a duty post, as the principal should, and you've greeted students, but you haven't seen all of your teachers yet, or you haven't seen all of your students yet, take just a few minutes to walk to some different classrooms and pop your head in and say good morning and see how things are going. And then join those morning meetings if you can once in a while and see what's going on in your students' lives and your teacher's life. And then do some walkthroughs. Make sure that you are visible during lessons. This helps with behavior and it helps you know what's going on in your building. And a lunchroom presence is very important for a principal. It helps cut down on those behaviors and sets the tone for that lunchroom etiquette. And then you want to be accessible. You want to be accessible to your staff, your students, and the parents. That doesn't mean you have to be accessible all day, but it does mean that you have to be accessible at least part of the day so they can come to you and they can share information with you, or they can ask questions and they can get feedback from you. And I think that visibility and accessibility kind of go hand in hand. When you're in the hallways or you're in classrooms, you're sending that message that your leadership, you as a leader, you're engaged and you're approachable. Number 2 is lead with heart. It's so important to show everyone in your building that you care for them, that they make your heart happy, that you are there because you want to be there. When your staff and your students know that you truly care, it builds trust with them and also with your parents. It's those little things like remembering a teacher's birthday or checking in on a staff member who's had a tough week, or maybe even taking the time to ask a student how their game went last weekend or last night. These moments of connection matter because they remind people that they're seen, that they're valued, and that they're respected. When you lead with heart, you create an environment of trust. People know that you have their back, and that sense of safety is what allows them to thrive in your building. But it's not just about having that warm and fuzzy feeling. Leading with heart also means having the courage to have those tough conversations when they're needed. There are going to be times when you have to address performance concerns or you have to navigate a difficult situation. When people know that you genuinely care, they're more likely to respond positively to your guidance. And ask yourself, are you modeling the kind of values that you want to see in your team? Are you modeling that you have a heart for them, that you care about them? It's so important to be self-reflective. And if you're not doing those things, figure out some ways that you can. And number 3 is to champion that instructional growth. You know how I feel about instruction, and that is one of the things where I am big on making sure that it is strong. That's one of the things that I do as an educational consultant, making sure that instruction is strong when there's a need for that in a particular building. So I'm going to put a little plug in there for myself. If you need someone to come in and do some observations and help strengthen your instruction, I am ready and willing and able to do that. So just reach out through the show notes. There's a link where you can text me through the show notes. You can email me. Either way, I will get it and I will contact you. And we can set up a time where I can come into your building and do some observations and help you to know where we can strengthen that instruction in your teachers. And if you don't know how to do really good, solid, strong classroom observations, I can come in and model that for you and show you what tools that I use and show you how to provide that real-time actionable feedback. And when you see the growth in your teachers, you're going to be amazed. Your teachers are going to own it because it's actionable. It's something that they can do immediately, and it's small, bite-sized steps that they can take to be a stronger teacher. And then when you see those instructional strategies that they're using and the growth in their classroom, then you can celebrate those instructional wins, which is going to help guide your teachers toward that continuous improvement. You're building a culture of learning at that point. Number 4 is to communicate effectively and often. There have been many times in my educational career where I felt that there was a breakdown in communication. And I never wanted to be that person when I was the principal. Consistent communication is the backbone of effective leadership because it builds clarity and alignment within your school. When your staff, your students, and your parents know what to expect, they feel very confident and connected to the mission of your building. That clear communication ensures that everyone is on the same page, whether it's about upcoming initiatives, the expectations of the building. If you don't communicate your expectations, people are not going to know what they are. Or maybe it's even just the day-to-day logistics. Send out regular newsletters or well-crafted emails. And even those face-to-face updates during a staff meeting or even in casual hallway conversation are all powerful tools to keep your school community informed and engaged. But remember, if it can be put in an email, put it in an email. The key is to be very intentional and transparent in how you share information. Clarity reduces confusion because when you are not clear on something, you're confused. And then you may not know what to do. And people are going to do different things based on their own mental model. And then there's more alignment, which keeps everyone working toward those common goals. But communication isn't just about what you say. It's also about how well you listen. You have to be an active listener. Active listening is one of the most underrated yet impactful tools of a great leader. When you truly hear your staff and your students and what your parents are saying, you really gain that valuable insight into their needs and their concerns. It's not just about hearing the words, guys, but about understanding the emotions and the perspectives behind them. And you can ask questions to get more clarity. Having a simple one-on-one conversation or even pausing to ask, "What do you think?" during a meeting can make such a world of difference in building trust and creating great collaboration with your people. When you prioritize both your clear communication and active listening, when you partner those together, you will create an environment where everyone feels valued and connected. And number 5, and this is a big one, and this is hard because sometimes you feel like you don't want to give that power away. But number 5 is to empower others to lead. There are so many reasons why. First, you can't do everything by yourself. Secondly, there are some very smart people in your building who can do it better than you, probably. And they are just itching to be able to show you how they can do it, how well they can lead. A shared leadership strengthens your entire school community. When you empower others to lead, you are actually going to create leaders who multiply your impact. You can only impact the community, your school, everything by only so much because you're just one person. You only see one perspective. You only have so many hours in the day. You only have so much energy that you can expend before you're worn out or burned out. So if you train others and grow them up the way that you want them to go based on your shared vision and mission, then you're going to multiply the impact that you can make. You know how horsepower works. When you have one horse, you only have so much horsepower. But when you have a whole team of horses, then your horsepower is much more. So it's the same with your human power. You only have so much as one person. But when you put everybody together, your horsepower, your human power is so much more. It grows exponentially. So make sure that you have some mentorship programs in place, that you provide teacher leadership opportunities. I love technology. And when I was in the classroom, I loved it when I got the opportunity to show what I knew about technology and teach others how to use programs, because that was one of my superpowers, was learning programs. And I was always ready and willing to teach others how to use those programs to their full capacity. As a leader, technology might not be a strong suit for you, but you can let others lead and you can learn yourself, and that takes that off of your plate. And then you can monitor what is happening. You can monitor the effectiveness of using those teacher leaders to teach others those programs. I have always been an ELA teacher or social studies or technology. Math, on the other hand, is not my strong suit. And I cannot teach math. I can't teach math strategies to a group of teachers as a building leader. So what I do is I leverage those natural born leaders who really want to get in there and say, hey, these are the strategies I use and they are effective. And then I don't have to do that work because I can't anyway. And I gave someone else the opportunity to shine and grow their leadership skills. Remember, guys, leadership isn't about perfection. It's about showing up with purpose every single day. As a building leader, your visibility, your heart, your instructional focus, your communication, and your empowerment of others sets the tone for your school's success. What's one way that you can show up tomorrow? I would love for you to share your thoughts with me on social media or drop me an email or a text. Like I said, you can click on the link in the show notes and send me a text. I would love to hear about your journey, your leadership journey, where you can grow. I would love to help you grow in any way that you would like or that you may need. I want to thank you for tuning in to Empowered Educator today. And if this episode inspired you, share it with a colleague who's ready to level up their leadership. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a review because it helps us empower even more educators like you. Until next time, keep showing up and leading with purpose.